Well, hey, greetings, everybody. Welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. Kind of a Ken live on location here tonight. So those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Ken Close. I am a Healy World member, engineer, lover of frequency technology, 100%. And I am joined by my amazing co-host, Jake Barron, head of operations for Americas. Jake, good evening.
Hey, Ken, and good evening, everyone.
How are you? How are you? And we have a live customer service person, as we do every one of our Tech Tip Tuesday. Is it Christian that's with us tonight?
Yeah, Christian's here to help us out tonight. Looking forward to having him support us along the call.
That's awesome. Hey, Christian, thanks for being here. Everybody tell him hi. That's live support from the Healy corporate customer service group, and they are spot on. I mean, I love having these guys on this call because if you guys have some pending thing going on, we can solve them right here. So, so those of you guys who are brand new to Tech Tip Tuesday, that gets harder and harder as time goes by. I don't know why, but those of you that are new, well, first of all, welcome, and just know that this is being recorded so you guys can see it later. But what we do here, this is a chat-based forum where everybody puts their questions in the chat, and then myself, Jake, Christian, we will go in there and we will take a look at those questions, bring them live on the call, and then solve those mysteries, even expand on things that are, I don't know, technology or theory or whatever it is. We get kind of crazy here, techie wise. So buckle up.
We guarantee we will resolve your issue. If it's not live on the call, by the next day, we'll get you an answer.
100%. Yeah. See, that's the fun part. Even if it's not live right here, right now, it's going to get solved. So what we can't do, though, folks, is that we can't really talk about anything to do with medical diagnosis, conditions, diseases, disorders, or suggestions in terms of being able to tell you what programs to use. But we do have resources that we can point you to. So don't worry. We will probably point you that direction if anybody asks a question around that. So I'm super happy, by the way, to be joining you guys from kind of a special spot tonight. It's a little different. Maybe you see my background is a little different than what you might be used to. It's still looking like I'm in the quantum field. Well, guess what? I am. When it comes to frequency, energy, and the non-visible way of changing us, that's what I'm right in the middle of.
Yeah. Yeah, and Kate, so I think we teased this a little bit last week. This new healing center that you have, and we were talking that of course all of us in the Healy communities, for a lot of us, maybe this is our first sort of step into this world, or this this type of device, the frequencies and that kind of thing. And others of us are a little bit more advanced and stuff like that. And there's a lot of very cool technologies, modalities, that kind of thing available that maybe as you're more advanced with Healy, or not even in advanced, but you're more open to these types of things, that you want to try out these other you can describe it better than me, but like things that maybe they're complementary to the Healy device, all this working together for a bigger result, a bigger impact as well. So that's why we wanted to kind of have you show us around. Maybe, of course, we're still going to do our tech or answer our tech questions and stuff, but maybe we start with a little bit of a tour of some of the cool stuff that's available these days. For looking to dive a little bit deeper.
And that's true. So Healy, for some of us, for some of you guys out there, Healy might have just opened the door barely for you and understanding the non-physical way of speaking to the body, right? And maybe you just learned about what frequency is. And I'm telling you, that's a big step, by the way. And where Healy is coming in is coming in with very specific, how do I put it, messages information to your body, because everything about us as a body, everything about things within this three-dimensional world is just information. And it's not really solidified into matter until there's some kind of a conscious effort for to do so, right? The observer effect, Einstein talked about this a long time ago. Everything is possibility, everything is waveform until a specific consciousness observes it into matter. Well, Healy works in that non-physical realm with using the coil like I am tonight, converting the frequencies into a magnetic wave, or I should say a magnetic wave that oscillates at the frequencies. That's more accurate. And those magnetic waves go out, and the frequencies contained within is information. And the body absorbs it. The body is this walking, talking antenna. And all of a sudden now you're getting the information that Healy is sending out to you. So whether if you have the wristbands on, and I'll bet you Jake does, because I'm 99% of the time. Right?
It's Tuesday night. I got my wristbands on. So.
Right. And because I'm mobile and non-local, I'm doing live again, mobile with the coil. So we don't have restrictions, but the wires do transmit the same frequencies, but through a microcurrent modality. And microcurrent is a very, very tangible way of speaking to biology. I mean, in a big way, in terms of amino acid transport, protein synthesis, as well as ATP production. So there's a lot of ways that we can promote that. But see, Healy created a way that's wearable, shareable, and individual, right? And it really transcends almost every market, whether it is mental wellness, weight management, learning, relationships, all over the place. So it transcends every single market out there when it comes to wellness. What I've done is I've created, so Healy is a big part of my life. It's also a big part of my business. And it should be within your lives. Anyone who's building a business with Healy, the most successful advice I could give anybody is to make that Healy business your personality, right? Using your personality, your personal reality, because that's the only thing that can speak to your demographic. And so when somebody trusts you, wants to learn from you, and you talk about Healy, now all of a sudden you already have kind of a step up on the ladder when it comes to believability, when it comes to being able to actually, the credibility and folks that want to work with you. So in my life as an engineer, I've created multiple modalities that complement each other. So this is a way of transmitting microcurrent, magnetic energy. We can also amplify the body through other modalities such as sound and vibration, light, right? These are all non-tangible, non-physical ways of communicating with the body. So I'll give you a little tour. I don't see we have any questions yet, do we, Jake?
Well, everyone's waiting to see what you're about to show us here.
Okay. All right, you guys. So I am sitting right now in what I call this is a sound bed. So it looks kind of like maybe a dental chair. It tilts back and the footrest goes up, but it's embedded with 8 very specific, they're called cell exciters. They're vibrational pods that actually address the body in different areas. Just like what Healy, maybe you guys have seen, no, I know you've seen, in the Pink app, where you're going to use the sticky pads and it shows you where to place the sticky pads on your body, right? Well, that's because there's certain places such as the mastoid bone, the brachial plexus, which is the top of your back between this on each side of the spine. That's an information highway, and we can interface with that information highway with magnetic energy. We can also do that with sound and vibration. And so this particular chair, I'm going to hop up here and give you another view of it. This particular chair here gives the ability to sit down, chill out, and mechanically allow vibration to move into your body. And it's driven by a laptop right back there. It's got a station that operates various programs. And you can also wear the Healy at the same time. You've probably heard me talk about dual modalities, 2 Healys, 3 Healys, MagHealy and 2 Healys, all these, multiple ways of interfacing with the body. Yeah. So now we have more ways to do so. So what that is back there, this is a little station that's where you can get into the mood. We can draw the curtain and really put you into an experience, and you're inside. All the lighting is programmable. Every light in here I can change to set the mood. We have, I don't see any questions yet. Are you guys still wanting to know what's more going on? You still want to know?
This is the virtual field trip, or we're being transported to Spokane, Washington.
Spokane, Washington, guys. This is the Healing Center. So I created this little fun window over here that you can maybe hear a bubbling brook. So there's a waterfall going on, some decorations, some plants. But the next part of what we can do is we can take vibration and we can couple that vibration with light. Take a look back here. I can take sound waves, convert them into mechanical vibrational signals, put your body on top of this, give your body those signals. Remember what I said? Your body's a walking, talking antenna. Okay. It's also a tangible being in three-dimensional space. And so it feels vibrations. I mean, just think about it. Have you ever had somebody talk to you, right? And that sound wave goes into the ear, the brain decodes the information, and you get that message. But also the tone, the texture, the volume of that voice has an impact. So the cool thing about all of that is that we know that vibration has frequency to it. And when we tune certain frequencies into the body responds. So in the background back there, you'll see that vibrational system. And then I use light. You can see two very intense light panels that would be pointing right at the person that's on there. 400 watts per panel, by the way. That's like a lot of, it's a lot of power. And your body loves it. I mean, we are creatures of light, yes? And so as a creature of light, very specific frequencies of light speak to our bodies. And our bodies, there's if you guys have ever wanted to study water, study the fourth phase of water. The fourth phase of water is exactly how light creates, I should say, interfaces with a layer of the water molecule called the EZ zone. And that's where it's kind of like a charging mechanism to charge you up. It's amazing how the divine creators made things for our benefit. And if we go outside, just go outside, and all of a sudden you're going to get these benefits. I built this model inside. You can kind of see the back wall back there. That's what I call the infinity wall.
Yeah.
It looks like you're just kind of walking off into the sunrise.
So Ken, let's just say that what you just showed us there is not just it's not a fancy scale that's going to tell you need to lose 2 pounds. It's much more than that.
No, so it has, it runs very specific programs. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, the screen's so bright.
Yeah. So it runs very specific programs. And this is science, by the way, folks. Science knows every frequency for every molecule on the planet. And it can combine these particular frequencies in whatever way we want. So we can do the microcurrent through our body, which is what Healy does, right? We can do the magnetic signal through the coil, which is what Healy does, right? We can do the magnetic signals through the MagHealy, which is what Healy does, right? We can even send those same informational signals up into the quantum field, and then rain down on the client through quantum entanglement. Well, that's what Healy does. Okay, so the cool thing is however we speak to the body, however we do it, the body's listening, and those signals are specific. And so now science knows, and we can then with this. It's not a fancy scale. With this guy right here, so it uses sound to actually oscillate the plate you stand on, while simultaneously headphones that put them into your ears. And now through the brain, you're getting the sound of the frequency, and through the plate, you're getting the mechanical vibration into the entire skeletal, muscular, and cardiovascular system, and speaking to the body in a very specific way. So, and then of course, light. We have a little spot over here where this, I call this the light bath. You kick back on this guy. There's electromagnetic information. There's light. A lot of other signaling mechanisms that just tell the body that basically tune up the healing systems that are already inside. One thing I want people to understand, I think we need to really understand that the body is the greatest healer, right? It has an intelligence. And so when we give the body this information, it starts using its own intelligence and helping down regulate the stuff that maybe Ken has put in there and up regulating the right stuff that the divine has put in. So anyway, so that's just a little walk around. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
That was awesome. Okay, so there was a question here, where are you located in California? So Ken's not in California, he's in Washington, further up in the Northwest there as well. So
yep, I'm further north of California, so I'm in Washington State. So yeah, you know, the interesting part about this technology is like Healy, you know, we want to be as mobile and portable as possible. And some of this technology is, I mean, you guys have heard of red light and infrared, near infrared, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You can now get devices that are, I mean, they can strap around your wrist, right? They're not huge, and they're very beneficial. Of course, quality and the power that they put out. Like I mentioned, those panels over there, 400 watts of power. You're not going to find that much in a battery operated system, but you know, little bits over long periods of time still makes a difference.
Yeah. Right? And Ken, so all very cool, different modalities, you know, the things that are out there. And like, if you were to say the MagHealy, like when I look at this, I say, okay, this would be like a perfect place to be having the MagHealy running as well. You know, the room's not huge. Yeah, I know you. Yeah. So like an atmosphere program, like if you were to run, say, you know, coherence or holistic health or, you know, energy or something like that, while these things are going on there too, right? Like that would be a cool sort of add on to harmonize the environment, which is one of the, of course, the purposes or one of the applications of MagHealy. And then what about like water too? Like when you're doing these things, we always talk about hydration with using the Healy device, but you know, for these other things as well, I'm assuming it's also important for proper hydration. So like, you know, you could come in here, you this atmosphere program going, drink some maybe some bioenergetic regeneration water that's been infused with quantum analyzed frequencies and that kind of thing, like to really just combine all of these things together into one holistic session sort of thing.
You know, I get people ask me like, that's a lot. Isn't that just too much? Aren't we going to overload the system? Let me give you a little perspective, folks. You and I, we're sitting here interfacing, we're listening to things, we're seeing things. All of the information that you are taking in through your senses right now is 2,000 bits of information per second. 2,000 bits of information per second. However, the body can perceive, understand, digest, and attune to 400 billion bits of information per second. Now think about that. Write that down. 400 billion is with a B. That's a lot of zeros. 400 billion bits of information. That's the reticular activating system, which is our electrical system, our nervous system, our awareness, all of that. 400 billion bits of information per second. What we are in tune with right now from a conscious state is only 2,000 bits. So the body can understand, discern, and utilize billions of bits of information per second that we don't need to worry about understanding. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't understand every frequency that's in this room. But the MagHealy, as Jake said, the MagHealy, when you charge the water, and believe me, no different than any other environment. When you're using the Healy, hydration, hydration, hydration. You're going to hear me say it. There's three big things that you need to take care of: hydration, 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 right? And that means half your body weight in water, in ounces of water per day. Half your body weight in ounces of water per day. Well, if that water is charged with information, guess what? Your body's discerning that, decoding that, and utilizing that in a different way, in a better way. So yeah, if you're drinking the water that you've charged with your MagHealy, if you've got a MagHealy sitting here in the room, it's right back there, and it's running some atmosphere program. So this room, it can touch everything in this room. It's big enough. Its radius of transmission is big enough to touch everything in this room. And so the vibrational signals that is going into the body from this equipment is also getting an add-on, right, from the Healy atmosphere. And if it's coherence, guess what? You're just building a model within these bodies. The body can understand it. The body can decode it. This is the intelligence that I think a lot of times we don't give our bodies enough credit. 100 trillion cells sitting there turning over, rebirthing to the tune of 800,000 per second. I hope you guys are writing all this down, and I hope you have a big piece of paper, because all those zeros, there's a lot of zeros on the end of the numbers I'm talking about. But it's super important that we look at the vastness and the ability within these bodies. I think we really underestimate what it can do. And so when we start giving the body their power back, its power back, it's all of a sudden it's going to heal at a much better rate. We sadly kind of take that away. So as you heard me mention earlier, I combine things. I did a little testimonial for multiple Healys, and as well as a lot of the other things I do in my life, whether it's meditation or whatever, but also with the elements, right? The elements supplementation, right? We're signaling the body with an element strip in the morning. We're signaling the body chemically, right, and energetically, and then the Healy amplifies all of that when I'm running, I don't know, my immune system program, right, which is the defense program, by the way, in the bioenergetic page 1. So the cool thing about all that is that we can amplify, and that's what's super important, is we do amplify. And how many of you guys go out there and maybe you go to the gym and such, and you do one push-up and then go home, right? One push-up, maybe one pull-up, maybe 1 minute on the treadmill. I don't know, just making stuff up, and then you go home, right? Your effective rate is kind of low. I mean, if you do that once a day for a year, yeah, okay, you got 365 times. What if you do 10 push-ups? You're timesing your results by 10. And so you just continue to add things within your life. And like I said, trust the body, because the body can discern that 400 billion bits of information per second. How many of you guys are going to go out and do 400 billion sit-ups or push-ups now, right? I don't see any questions, you guys. You guys got any questions, or you just come to hang out?
No, that was very cool. Very cool. Sort of virtual peek into. So, I do have one question for you, Ken. So, any plans to maybe in the future build a Kozrev mirror and put that in there?
Well, so this entire model, this is a model I've been working on for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of from the engineering perspective. And I had an opportunity to kind of show that model at one of our advisory meetings, right? And so because Healy is a big part of my life, I incorporate it into everything I do, and that's part of what I do. So this model is it's duplicatable. I mean, I can do this. It doesn't take a lot of space, and my intention is to do it everywhere. And
Very cool.
so I'm coming to Orlando.
Well, we got a peek into the very first one, so the history.
This is it. This is the debut right here.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
any job openings at Healy they want to know?
no, not currently, not in the Orlando office there, but you never know. Things evolve over time. There was one question. Oh, actually, we got a question here from Deb that just came in. So, if we do a hard reset every time a program ends, does doing this affect the lifespan of the device? That's a very interesting question. Well, because first of all, you shouldn't have to do a hard reset every time a program ends. If you're having to do that, there's some other issue going on there. Be curious to know how old the device is and that kind of thing. And is it just, what is the reason that you're doing this hard reset? Is it that the battery's dying, or it's freezing, or it loses the connection after each time you run a program? Because right, Ken, there's no reason you should have to do that.
No, I'd be very curious as to why you're doing a hard reset. If it's a connection issue, then yeah, definitely kind of maybe put some more information in the chat for us about what's stimulating that hard reset need or your think for it. I'd be very curious to know. I mean, my original Healy is over 5 years old. I don't think I might have done a hard reset twice, maybe.
Yeah, I switched to this Obsidian one, last year, but the one I had before that for almost 4 years, I think I did, like 2 or 3 times. And it fixed the connectivity issue, related to the app and that kind of thing too. But Deb, if you could put a little bit more into the chat and maybe expand upon that a little more.
Yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate that. Yeah, if it's a hardware thing, or I don't know. Again, some of the things we give you guys some how-tos and some technical information, and I want to make sure that we clarify that the things we're talking about, it's not something you have to do like every day or all the time, or these are to solve a problem, not standard use. Okay, so this Deb following up here, she says, okay, I realize that when the program ends, if I want to continue with another program and I can run another program straight away, meaning the device's power is still on. Okay, so if you're talking about you've come to the end of a program, you're running a program, yes, and it ends, and the app is going to show you that the program is over, right? And from there, from the app, you can go directly. You can select another program. You can, the options show up right there. So,
okay, this is I think it's another interesting question, because when you load a say, referring to the Healy 2 app, if you load a program to the Healy 2 app, it's actually like when you see that screen and the bar is going across, it's actually transferring that individual program to the device. The device doesn't store all of the programs. Those are stored in the app in the cloud, and as you load it, it runs that particular program. So if the program ends and you want to continue with another program, well, actually what I was going to say is you can run the next program again. You shouldn't run it back to back, but say you want to run it again later in the day or something like that. That program actually is already in there, and you can start that program without going through the whole process again. It's the only program that you can run, but the last one that was in there is actually still loaded.
yeah, which is a very cool feature. If you're doing a hard reset, that gets rid of any information in the memory. But if you want to run the same program again, now you don't have to, but if you want to run it again, you can simply just start that program again from the app, and it's already going to be in there. Adjust your levels and you're ready to go. If you're talking about how you go to a different program from the one that's loaded into the Healy, right? You don't have to do a reset. It's all done from the app. The app will send whatever new program you choose. It'll write it over the top of the old one that was in there. It'll only hold one program at a time. Okay, in the Healy hardware, it'll only hold one program at a time, and that one program that's in the Healy hardware memory, you can run over and over and over again without having to reload it. You'll still have to adjust the levels, but the advantage is it takes less time, right? You know how little progress bar at the top of the app when you send a program to the Healy, and you can see the green light flashing really fast, the blue light flashing really fast, and that transfer happening on your app, the progress bar across the top of the screen, and then boom, it's done and it starts to run. Okay, that process there just gets eliminated if you use the same program that's already loaded in the Healy. Yeah. So
actually, let's circle back to the original question. Even though we got a little bit more details, but let's say Deb was to do this every single time a program ends, hard reset. Doing that, say, I don't know, twice a day or something like that. On an engineering side, the component side, do you think that would have any impact on like either the battery health? Of course, every time you do a hard reset, you need to recalibrate the battery. So if you're doing a hard reset every single time, you're never properly calibrating the battery sensor there either. But I'm curious, any thoughts on what might happen if someone were to do?
From a physical engineering perspective, number one, you're using the button more.
Yeah.
You're physically pressing and holding the button probably 10 times longer or more than you normally would under typical use. It's probably at least a 10x increase in that button. What effect is that going to have? Well, that is a mechanical button. It's a small little silicone contact button inside there with a plunger, and then also you're flexing the overlay, the plastic overlay or the vinyl overlay. So you're adding 10 times the wear and tear on it. As far as the circuitry, it doesn't care. I mean, to be honest with you, the circuitry itself, the printed circuit board and all of the components on that printed circuit board, it doesn't care. The only thing
there's no built-in limit of, okay, you did 17 hard resets, that's it, you're done.
No, that circuitry doesn't care about that factor. Like you said, yeah, calibrating the battery. When you do a hard reset, it does eliminate all things, goes back to factory settings. If you hard close the app, turn the app back on, whatever those factory settings are in the Healy hardware, it will link and re-upload that content to the app. If there's inaccuracies with the battery reset, then you're going to have to do that a few more times to actually get the accuracy optimized. But it also requires a charge cycle. You follow me? So, if you're doing a hard reset but no charge cycle, a hard reset, no charge cycle, hard reset, no charge cycle, it doesn't have a reference point to set the high and the low for the battery condition. I don't know if that would have an effect, honestly. On that programming, it's a good question about that part. Okay.
So yeah, if there's no specific issue or no need to, there's no real need to try it out.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There is no need. Okay, so Deb's added a piece to the question. I also want to get to Ethel's question here. Let's go to that one, then we'll come back to Deb's addition. So Ethel says, if you set a program and vibrate overnight, like for sleep programs, it can sometimes will run the Healy down on one run. I've done that. So you're talking about the battery, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
If
think
you
so.
set, yeah, if here's the cool thing though, when you're running your Healy in vibrate mode from the Blue app, you can plug it in. It'll run the Blue app while it's plugged in. You just can't run anything from the Pink app when it's plugged in. And let's talk about why. Well, first of all, the way the casing is made, it's deliberate. So you can't plug the power cord in and the leads, the tangible wires that go to your body at the same time. And the reason is because Healy is, it does have a class 2 medical rating. And in order for it to qualify for that, it needs to have very specific protective mechanisms between the wall outlet and the connection to your body. And so if you plug the wall outlet in, even though it's a USB charger, which has some protective mechanism inside of it, you're still plugged into 120 volts, easily as much as 15 amps of power, which is more than enough to stop any heart. Okay, more than enough. And so they build that safety plan in there for the most catastrophic possibility, far-fetched, once in a billion year opportunity for it to happen. It's very rare. It would be so hard, but still, it needs to be built in to qualify for that class 2 medical device, right? So, so you can't plug it in and run microcurrent into your body at the same time, but you can plug it in and run information field frequencies at the same time. We've talked about this before too, haven't we, Jake? About, keeping something plugged in all the time, using it that way.
Yeah.
Not cycling the battery fully charged to fully dead, fully charged to fully dead on a regular basis. So we've talked about that. And people are doing that with the MagHealy. I think there's some, potential for issues there.
Yeah, definitely seems more common with the MagHealy, just leaving it on the charger, running those atmosphere programs, all day.
Yep. So we want to cycle through 80% of the time that you use your device, MagHealy or Healy. 80% of the time you want to run it through a full charge cycle, and a full charge cycle means run it all the way dead. It won't work anymore. Charge it all the way up, and then that's one charge cycle, and then use it all the way dead. Okay, so that's a cycle. 80% of the times you want to do it that way. Okay. Let's see. Back to Deb's other piece of the question. If I send a 30-minute program to the device, set the intensity and close the program from the iPhone after 31 mins, I want to run another 30-minute program. I realized that I didn't have to on the device. I didn't have to do it again on the device. I want to send the second 30-minute program. So that's why I was thinking that you apparently need to reset the device, right? So that's why I'm thinking the device is still on, and I can drain the battery if I don't do it a hard reset. So, okay, so let me give you a little process here. When you turn the Healy on, the power, right? You turn the power on, it'll just sit there and be on for a while, right? Green light flashes, does nothing. It does start running the last program that was put into the memory. Okay, it starts running. That green light flashing means it's doing something. It's running. Okay, so then if you open the app, remember you've already turned the Healy on, then you open the app, and the app then goes to connect to the Healy, and then you see the blue light start to flash. Okay, awesome. The blue light starts to flash, and now it's connected to the Healy. And now the two are communicating. Okay. So at the end of that program and the app is on, the green light and the blue light are still on because it's still connected to the app. You can now send it a new program from the app, and it will rewrite all of the information that was stored in it from program number 1. So program number 1 gets written over the top of, program number 2 gets started, run it through its full-on sequence, and the same results happen again. The app stays connected as long as you don't hard close it, or the battery goes dead on the Healy. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if the concern is wanting to make sure it's not depleting the battery after the program is finished, just close the app. You know, that's
Hard close it. Yep.
if there's no lights blinking, the power light or the Bluetooth light, and the app's closed, you're not depleting the battery at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got?
We got a question from Ethel. Says, can I plug in the Healy in the phone at the same time overnight? So the question is, can you charge your phone at the same time you're running a Healy program? Is sure. Yeah, there's no issue with that. You're not physically, the Healy device isn't physically connected to the phone, which is then connected to the wall. At that point there too. So yeah, overnight, that's a pretty common thing. Most of us charge our phones overnight. And if you want to run a Healy program or vibrate a Healy program, there's no issue with that. Or if you want to run a MagHealy program at night, while your phone's being charged, same thing too. You can connect to your phone and run a MagHealy program as well.
Yep.
Let's
see. I remember, I mean, now the app has gotten so many cool updates. I remember running some hacks to run multiple Healys at the same time. That was my biggest deal, is to like, I really want to optimize what's possible here. And early on, I had multiple Healys, and I would have multiple smart devices to get them going. And I figured some ways of getting them going without them shutting down. So now we can just do it easily.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for these questions, by the way. And by the way, if I haven't seen any additions yet from Kristen in the chat, but if you guys did want to save this chat, within the chat box, there's 3 little dots next to like where you would put in your text. You click on those 3 little dots. It's another menu that opens up a menu choice of save chat. At the end of our call, it'll come up on, if you're on your laptop or PC, it'll come up on your laptop or PC with a message that says save chat, and you can save it to your device. So super cool. Sometimes that's handy to have. Trigger your memory to remember what we were talking about, but also, Jake and his crew, I mean, gosh, those guys put some amazing stuff together on the YouTube page with all of the questions and all the hyperlinks. So
yeah, we got a great team. Henry that adds a lot of these calls, and Caroline as well. And this is a global resource now too. And actually, it's a good time. I think we're caught up here right now. I want to share something in case anybody missed this, but there is some cool new content available on the Healy World Learning Hub. So some of you may have seen this if you follow it very closely, but of course you have our Tech Tip Tuesdays and the Healy Short series that Henry does, which are awesome. But this one, we kind of stuck this one in here, Healy Advanced Training, the Frequencies Network. So this is with one of the Healy World members over in the APAC region. And this one is titled Support for Severe Stress or Trauma with Healy and MagHealy, focusing on the power of 3 rebalance protocol, deep cycle and soul cycle. So as we mentioned, this was the Healy World America's YouTube channel. There's a lot of trainings from the EMEA region that have been added, masterclass with Martin Whitman, that kind of thing. There's a playlist, and we're going to be adding some of these advanced trainings that are going on over in APAC. I know a lot of us some people like to stick to just, the basics and that kind of thing. But for those of us who want to learn more, go deeper as far as details on how you can use specific protocols and that kind of thing, these are awesome. We're going to be adding some more of these from this series of trainings as well over the next few weeks and months too. So if you go to our YouTube channel, it should be in the one of the more recent videos added. But if you can't find it, just go to the playlist, and then there's a new playlist called Healy Advanced Training. If you click View Full Playlist, it's the only one there right now, but we will add more to this playlist as well. And then you'll also see the thing I had mentioned here about the Healy Product Masterclass with Mark Whitman. This is available here. Some of these are available in German, but they're also available in English too. So we have innovation and scientific validation or analysis and the fundamentals of the information field. So everywhere you go, whether it's our YouTube channel or whether it's Healy Academy or just attending Tech Tip Tuesdays or Frequencies and Friends, that kind of thing, there's all kinds of areas where you can go to get more information, as much as you want, really. We have it there. So
I mean, hundreds of hours of stuff, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's I don't even know.
How do you count? There's I think there's some
we
kind
have,
of
455 videos on our YouTube channel. So a lot of these are an hour long. So yeah, hundreds of hours of content.
Right. Yeah. Who else has that much content on a frequency system? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Healy is doing a fantastic job with all the academy updates and continuing additions. These YouTube channels are so valuable. There's no reason why we can't find the right answer. And with Harmony, right, the new AI engine.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have had a chance to interact with Harmony because it's the first thing that you interact with when you go to our Healy Shop in the chat, or even a support ticket too. If you submit a support ticket, Harmony is the first one to answer as well. It answers right away. It's immediate. So if you submit a support ticket, you're within minutes. You're getting some sort of reply, and a lot of times Harmony can help with a particular issue. And if can't, no harm done. It just gets transferred to one of the agents on our customer care team as well. So it's very cool feature, and it's going to continue to improve and evolve over time. So it's a great new feature, but it's not like we're done with it and that's it, as good as it's going to be. It's going to continue to get better and better and better over time.
Well, remember I said earlier, my oldest Healy is over 5 years old. Quite different today in terms of support than 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm so grateful for you, Jake, and the staff, and what we've done here in the United States. I think it's also been a model, right, for other locations.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Of course, with the introduction of AI, this whole it was only 2 years ago we had live chat, and now we're at the point where AI has come such a long way in the last, really the last 2 years. It's really just blown up. It's gone crazy, and we want to incorporate as many of these tools as possible. It's not, we're trying to balance this. We want to make this as efficient as possible to where you're getting helpful answers instantly. But then if you do need to be transferred to our team, we're still here. We're still doing video calls if you need additional troubleshooting, we'll hop on a video call. We're doing more outbound calls now too, because sometimes it's like, hey, maybe we don't need a video call. Let me call you right now. What's your phone number? Confirm that, get on a call, get this resolved right away too. So the AI is actually letting us be able to offer even more personalized service too. So it's one of the benefits also is that you're going to find that we're going to be the experience. You have the instant answers via Harmony, but then when you do need to be in touch with somebody on our team, you're going to find a even better experience than what you've had in the past too. So we're certainly excited, and it's evolving very fast as far as what's available, and even some of the translation tools that are real time translating as you speak to people around the world. I mean, by next year, we could be making Tech Tip Tuesday a global call where anybody can join and ask questions in any language and listen to me and Ken speak in English, and they hear it instantly in whatever language we want. That technology is here already, maybe not as mainstream as it will be a year from now, but those are the kind of things we want to be able to have everybody around the world benefit from calls like this.
I agree. I think, and I think, no, we may have a small audience tonight, but the reach that the recordings and the information gets out there, and I think that reach is what's important. Eventually, it gets to the right spot, and somebody learns something, and a mystery is solved. Okay, so let's see. Ethel's kind of finished a little added piece there. Said that she watches the little battery level thing go down while she's running programs to show you how much time you have left. Yeah, that's the feature. That's a cool feature that we have that the app has, so that we can see what's going on and give us an idea. And here's the thing, folks, too, is no different than, like, I don't know, you get to know your car, right? You drive your car, you understand how it handles. You know how much distance you can get for tank full, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? You should be getting an understanding of your Healy as well. You know that if you're running, a certain number of programs, and those programs are, pretty long, that eventually you're going to get an idea of how many you can do per day. You kind of get a standardized awareness. Yeah. So I know that people that are new, just kind of feeling it out, understanding what it can do, and then thinking about using the blue app versus the pink app, different ratios in terms of battery consumption, because when you're running the pink app, you're running microcurrent out of it, whether you're putting the wristbands on or you're running the coil, you're still running microcurrent, which increases the demand and the draw on the battery to some degree. The microcurrent that's connected directly to your body probably pulls the highest rate of change, or the highest battery demand, right? Than, say, just running the blue app and you're just vibrating frequencies into the field. Okay, so understand there's different ratios in terms of battery consumption, but you get a feel for all that, right? This is you getting to know your Healy, and the fun part is, I feel this all the time. My Healy gets to know me, right? My Healy gets to know me. And I'll give you another little hint, ladies and gentlemen, anybody who's watching this forever. If you proclaim that you're no good with technology, what did I say? Healy gets to know you. And you may experience a few more struggles with everything from the app, and it doesn't matter just about Healy. Healy will probably work better than any of your other apps when you're saying that I'm no good with technology. So self-proclaim to be an expert. I am a Healy expert and I love this technology. This is an affirmation, right? So those of you who do that kind of work, intention work and affirmation work, and you may be saying stuff about I'm not good at this, or I don't look like that. Well, you're creating an intention.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry, for Christian. Christian put a battery.
Yeah, some general guidelines on expected battery life, and he mentioned also, of course, that it varies quite a bit depending on the duration and the intensity that you use. If you're set to high current versus low current at 100% intensity versus 20% intensity, of course, there's quite a range in there. as well. So, and if you're running 20-minute programs versus an hour and 20-minute programs. So,
Big difference.
oh yeah.
Big difference.
It's-
What other questions you got, you guys? Anything out there? Any curiosities? We got a couple minutes here, a few minutes left. Any curiosities?
If we had anything new, any questions for Ken while he's on site here? Anything that came to mind while we're, there was a question early on as far as some of these different modalities and stuff that you've got there, as far as, how often do you have to go for something like this? Because with the Healy, consistency is key. You use it on a regular basis. I would assume consistency is key for a lot of other things too, where it's not just a one and done. Okay, I got a treatment on each of these, and I'm good till next year.
Yeah, like I said, doing one push-up a year
Yeah.
per versus several, you're going to have a different biological effect. Now, remember, when we're dealing with energy frequency, this is instantaneous information. There's no lack and there's no lag time. It's instantaneous, and in the case of the Blue app, it's also omnipresent, omnidirectional, omnipresent. So that's the information field, and our body's connected to that. But our body is a three-dimensional mass in space and time, and that has a different change rate than does just a magnetic wave. A magnetic wave that's emitted from the coil, man, it can go forever, right? And when it impacts something such as an antenna, aka your body, it then sends the information into your body, but it never stops there. It's going to the next body and the next body, everywhere. It's going everywhere. But this body is the one that it touched first. This body is the one that is kind of surrenders to space and time. And so the remember I told you the changeover rate of your body's cell structure, 800,000 cells per second. That's fast and that's a lot, but it's still slow compared to the influence of the magnetic wave. So how often you do things? Again, it's all about change. If you do one push-up and suddenly you are Hercules or you're ripped, wow, that's awesome results. But what's your body want? What's your body need? And that's the most important thing. So people come to my location here. I have a series, a membership, it's 8 sessions a month. And we spread them out at least a day apart to give the body time to acclimate to the experience. So no different than Healy programs. How many programs per day? Not 12, 2 or 3 a day. That's good, right? Then let your body acclimate. Okay. Last question real quick, lightning round. Ethel says, I was in my doctor's office today. She asked if I was still using my little machine. I love that reference, my little machine. I said, yes. And she says, great, don't stop. I'll be 89 on the 5th. Hey, happy birthday, early Cinco de Mayo, right? And she said, none of her other patients are as healthy. She even has medical proof of my health improvements. Ethel, come on, give me some high five.
Yeah.
Come on.
High fives all around. That's awesome. And that's the perfect way to close the call. I love to hear those type of things.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Christian. Let's have an amazing week. We'll see you next week. Any closing things, Jake?
No, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Christian. Ken, thanks especially for the cool tour of the new space, and looking forward to see how that evolves over time. So,
hey, anybody that gets over to the West Coast and gets into my neck of the woods,
yeah,
free sessions on me. Come on over.
nice.
Just tell them Healy sent you.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thanks. Have a good night.